Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin'. Today we're headed out on the water. It is a beautiful day. We're slated for some wind, but I like our conditions. Let's go fishing. I'm really looking forward to today. We've got a bunch of different baits tied on. We're throwing everything from a swim bait to a scrounger to a wobble head, shaky head. Essentially, we talk a lot about how some fish stay shallow after the spawn and other fish go out deep and they stay there through the summer. Today, we're going to target those deeper fish, those offshore fish. So we're going to spend the day on offshore structures. I'll be spending a lot of time with side imaging today. I don't know that I'll make you watch that part, but I'll be side imaging a lot, looking for anywhere that fish might be stacking up. Long tapering points where they break off, humps, if I could find rock piles or brush or anything like that, those random spots on the bottom, you know, any structure on the bottom that those offshore fish might congregate on, and then we're going to throw the gamut at them to try and get those fish. I'm really looking forward to today. Let's go. All right, we're out at the end of a point. We're in about 13, 14 foot of water, right where it rolls off. I idled around out here, and right where it was breaking, I saw some fish lined up right on that break. So I turned the boat around, backed up. We've got the Quest spot locked holding us in the wind. I just grabbed a wobble head because a wobble head is a bait that I can use to cover a lot of water quickly. I'm just gonna fire some casts across here, try and gauge the general mood of the fish. Hopefully we get bit. Oh, missed it. Just got bit on a scrounger. I had already thrown a wobble head, a shaky, and an underspin. And all of a sudden one reacts. That's good information. I obviously would have preferred to hook him, but it's still good information. We know they're there, right? I drove over them. I could see them clear as a bell. I backed off. I know they're there. So just cycling baits, trying to figure out what they're going to eat. All right, we have got our first fish in the boat. He ate a shaky head. We'll take that right there. You know, offshore fishing, it can be a real mental challenge. So that's our first fish, but by no means are we on our first stop. We're on our fourth time that I've seen fish. You guys saw me miss one on the scrounger. After that, I couldn't get bit on it, so I followed up with a mid-stroll. Still a 5.5 spunk shad, just more subtle, strolling it. Missed one on that. Couple stops later, missed another one strolling. And then earlier in that cast, I missed one on the shaky, and then I just caught that one. When you're missing fish and you're having to go multiple stops to get a bite, not to mention all the time spent graphing looking for them, you know, that can mess with your head, and it was definitely starting to mess with mine. It's amazing what that first bite will do for you. You know, again, first bite, first fish will do for you. You're just constantly trying to find the crumbs, the little pieces that you can build to assemble a pattern. Those fish, again, now we're in 20 foot, and it's sort of a valley right here. There's a high spot and a high spot, and they were right down the middle. Nothing special except that those fish are sitting down there. So hopefully that's the start of something. Feels like a small one though. Yep, small one. All right, we're back on the board. Number 2, again on that shaky head. Very, very subtle. So I've been, I don't know, I bet I've looked at 10 more spots, and I probably saw enough fish to fish 3 more without a bite until that fish. I'm seeing a lot of fish today. They just don't seem active. Thus, you guys know how much we like that net bait T-Mac, and I've got that on a shaky head on a casting rod. This is the little X Zone. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit softer. I went to a Missile Baits head on it, which is a really small hook. I'm throwing it on spinning gear for that reason, just really trying to finesse them because they just seem like they're in a weird mood. Either we're gonna come up on a group of fish that's feeding, or maybe these fish will turn on later in the day. I don't know, but we're going to keep adapting. I keep throwing a swim bait, a wobble head, an underspin, strolling, right? I'm throwing all the things every time I see fish, and it's that shaky head that they're actually eating. Uh-oh. That's a good fish. Oh, he fooled me. I thought that was a good one. He was solid. Well, he is better than the last. That one was solid as a rock when I hit him. I have no idea why. I really thought that that was going to be a good one. He just had some shoulders on him, I guess. That was a good bite right there. Dong! That one ate it. He meant business. Yes. Oh, that feels like a good fish. Oh my gosh, you guys see how big that fish is? Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's a freak of nature. Oh my gosh, it's a true giant. Look at that. Look at the size of that fish. Look, wobble head, June bug, X Zone adrenaline craw. I'm gonna weigh this fish. It's absolutely massive. Hang on. I'm gonna set her in the live well and get the scale out. When that fish's head came up, I'm thinking double digits. I don't know what it weighs, but it's massive. But I mean, I thought big. And I realized my net was just a couple feet too far back for me to reach it. Whew. All right, let's weigh this thing. Man, she's enormous. She could be there. She wants to thrash. Don't you do it. Don't do it. You're gonna hurt yourself. Nine 9.60. 9.6. Just an absolute freak. Post-spawn, summertime monster. I've still got the shakes. It's been a couple minutes. When that head came out, I mean, if that was a pre-spawn fish, she's absolutely double digits. 9.6 is an absolute giant. It's a giant any time of year. That is a giant summer bass. Let me show you what I'm throwing and kind of explain more of what we're doing today. So it's a wobble head
which is a swinging jig head. So the jig head itself is free floating on a wide gap hook. And then this is that X-Zone Adrenaline Craw in June bug. It's all tore up. I need a new one. That is the only bite that I have had on this so far today. But the concept and the reason why I'm doing it is that I consistently get giant bites on this in the summer. There's something special about that June bug, and no question that Adrenaline Craw has the best action of anything I found for fishing that wobble head or that swing head. I fish it on heavy tackle. You know, there's a Legend Extreme, St. Croix Legend Extreme 7.4 heavy, 50-pound braid to 20-pound leader. I mean, it's not like I'm babying them. I hit those fish hard and I pull hard on them. The majority of fish we've caught today have been on the shaky head, also June bug. I personally have a lot of confidence in June bug in the summertime to get above average bites or to get giant bites. I get more bites on green pumpkin, red bug, some of those other colors, but for whatever reason, those big ones, it's June bug. So anyway, I've got the majority of my bites today on the shaky head. You know, this morning, couple reaction bites that didn't hook up, but I know if I'm going to get a monster, it could happen on the shaky head, but it's more likely to happen on the wobble head. So I just kept throwing it. And that was the first bite. She just, dong, just clobbered that thing. But the concept here, you throw it out, let it hit bottom, and I'm swimming it. So steady retrieve right on the bottom. And if there's any debris, rocks, anything to bounce off of, it'll deflect. And this trailer will just be back there kicking, swimming, and moving behind that head, just sort of hunting along the bottom. And it works. That was awesome. All right, I got a couple of photos of this one. Time to put her back. Well, it's not much of a follow-up to a 9.5 pounder, but he is number 5. We'll take it. Back on that shaky head. I made some more casts of that wobble head, threw a swim bait a little bit. You know, now I'm like amped on trying to get another giant, but nothing. Picked up that shaky head, made 2 casts, catch another fish. Got him. Whoop. All in all, it is a shaky head kind of a day. But that right one, the one that has us out here in the wind, offshore, grinding, watching side imaging, dropping waypoints, the right one, it ate that wobble head. I love this style of fishing. Offshore fishing is a lot of work, make no mistake. And it's a lot of mental work because you look around you, there's no visual cues, right? There's no bank to look at. There's no trees. There's no docks. There's nothing. You have to believe that either what you saw on side imaging is accurate, or if you don't have that, because there are simpler ways to do this too, you just have to believe that the fish are out there and just keep going through the motions until you get them. Maybe at the end we'll sit down and talk through You know, I'm using quality mapping, and that gives me such an advantage because I'm out following contours, but it can be so much simpler than that. Frankly, you can offshore fish, not this lake, I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know, I'm half a mile, 3/4 of a mile offshore. But in a lot of lakes, you can offshore fish or target deep water fish from shore. It's just about being cognizant of the spots that you're choosing and focusing on places with access to deep water that have that hard bottom. And I can kind of walk you through what you're looking for, even if you're a guy on the bank that wants to target these bigger, deeper summertime bass. I guess we'll kind of get to that at the end. For now, I'm gonna try and get another one. Got him. The bite definitely seems to be improving this afternoon in terms of number of bites, and they're hitting it a lot harder. A lot of my fish this morning would just pick it up. These fish are pecking at it. I'm going a lot more finessey than I normally would with the shaky head, so I prefer to throw a shaky head on a bait caster myself. Some people like a spinning rod, some people like a casting rod. So my standard shaky head, it's a Dirty Jigs. It's got a stout hook in it. I'm throwing it on 12-pound leader, 30-pound main line, Megabass Destroyer P5. It's the X-Bites, super sensitive bait caster. But because of how tough it was this morning and the fact that I was missing a lot of bites, I started throwing that spinning rod. This is a GLX, G Loomis GLX, but it's the 892S. The 852 is the rod that I have traditionally used for throwing shaky heads on a spinning rod. This one's significantly longer. This is a new model that's available in the GLXs that's never existed before in the Loomis line. So I wanted to try it, and I really like it. I can definitely feel the extra few inches on the end of this rod, that softer tip. I think there's a lot of crossover. I could do other things with it for sure. I don't think I would want to throw that heavy wire hook, but I'm using this Missile Baits hook. It's a lot smaller, a lot lighter wire. Like I said, I'm throwing that smaller worm today. And of course, I'll link all this stuff in the video description for you. But even out in the middle of the lake, these fish get in a funk and go into that lighter line. I'm throwing 10-pound instead of 12, a smaller hook, a smaller worm, and I definitely think it's getting me more bites. Little one. I hit him twice because I wasn't sure. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's getting later in the afternoon. Today was amazing. We got a bunch of bites, we caught some quality fish, and we got one just absolute freak of nature, and I could not be happier with that outcome. I'm still sitting here. That's the bait she ate. I'm just sitting here looking at the teeth marks in it. Awesome. Catching a big one is always a riot. Catching a big one this time of year, a true freak, is just icing on the cake. That's the deal with those deeper fish. So like we talk about a lot, after the spawn, some fish stay shallow, some go out deep. There's big fish in both places, but the big ones that go deep, they're pretty easy to target. It's a mental game because there's not a lot for you to look at out there, so it can really be a mental challenge. The actual fishing is not complicated, and I would encourage you to do it. If you've got a bass boat, a tin boat, a kayak, a float tube, I highly recommend it. If you've got electronics, a mapping card makes all the difference in the world. I run that the Humminbird Lakemaster VX card, and that thing is the deal. I'm able to find those contours so quickly, identify the spots where they're rolling off or where they're slow tapers, and then I'm just looking for the spot on the spot. And I mean, there's not fish on all of it, but when I've got a clear picture of the lake, it's so much easier to go look for those fish. But even if you don't have it, even if you are on the bank, in most situations, you can still target these deeper fish. The one exception is natural lakes. If the lake is super flat, it's just a bowl. If you're on the bank, odds are you can't reach the big ones that have gone out because they're gonna be on isolated structures out there somewhere. But if you're on a reservoir, absolutely, you can still target a lot of those fish from shore. And I think a lot of people overlook that. I mean, you just wanna look for those key places. You know, where creek channels come in tight to the bank, steep points, especially if there's rock on them, just rocky banks in general. If there's bridges that cross your lake and you can reach those bridge pilings, you're definitely fishing around big fish. Pinch points, you know, if the lake's wide and then it narrows down, fish both sides of that narrow down from shore or from a boat. It's just, you've just got to take it one step further in your mind. Think through your fishing. Don't just randomly cast. Drive to places that are logical to try and target those bigger fish. And then little tricks like knowing to throw June bug in the summertime for those bigger bites. It's consistent. It works. Guys, I hope you had fun coming along today. I really enjoyed catching that big one with you. I'll link the gear I was using in the video description, from the extra small shaky head to the wobble head to the specific baits, the rods I was using, all that stuff. In fact, I'll link the map card that I use as well, because that really is a big part of it. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.